This is Lauren Marie Taylor, and you are listening to No Good Music. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good, because I did something the other day. I don't remember what it was. What was it? Oh, I don't know. It was something that I was trying to do, and oh, look at my gray hair. Oh, God, help me. And we just couldn't get
That's why we're well, I don't have any hair. So.
That's the hat.
Yeah.
Here, let me turn on my volume a little bit because I had my computer. You used to take a book to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now you take the computer to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and my husband takes the border collie to bed. No, dudes, listen. There, okay, I think I got it. He even said to me, "Oh, hon, I hate to tell you this, but I think I love the border collie more than I love you."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my wife loves our dog more than me.
Well, he accused me of that last time we had a border collie about, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. But he accused me of loving the dog more than him. But this time he admitted it to me that he loved, because it's a puppy, it's a one and a half year old, brown and white border collie puppy. And it was his idea, to get the puppy. So I said to him, well, then that's good, because then he can cook for you, he can clean for you, do your laundry, fold your laundry, do all your ironing, clean the bathroom, do all the vacuuming.
Perfect.
I have a border collie, Jack Russell. So he's a little, he's crazy. Well, he was crazy. He's like 10 years old now. So
he's still crazy.
Oh yeah. They slow down after what, 9.5 years?
Yeah. So welcome to No Good Music. This is Jeremy. I'm Jim.
Hello.
Hi guys. Hi Jeremy. Hi Jim. I'm Lauren. Obviously.
And I think you met her before, right?
Yes, we've met at conventions.
Yeah.
Previously at some point.
You weren't at the Pennsylvania Heart? Weren't you at that?
Yeah, I was there.
Jim was there. Yeah, I was there too. We weren't there together, but I saw you at the first, when COVID ended, there was an outdoor show near Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to see you there, which was a lot of fun.
That was that crazy windy day.
Yes.
Right? It was
it was like 100 degrees outside, but there was wind.
There was wind and I had all those I had the hockey pucks.
Yep.
So hold on. I'll turn off my phone. I told my Aunt Phyllis, long story, but I have my elderly aunt and my elderly mother at the house at the moment at the same.
Oh no.
One can't see and one is deaf. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So when I told my Aunt Phyllis, I said, and she's deaf. I said, I'm going upstairs to work. And she's like, what? I said, I'm going upstairs. I'm doing typing like this. I'm working, and she goes, oh, okay, I'll leave you alone. And now she's texted me like 3 times. But yeah, so that con was really kooky because Mary B, I can't pronounce her last name. She's all those soaps with, the faces of the different, characters like Jason, and things like that. Her soaps were melting.
Oh my God.
And she had to leave. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a drag, but people's pictures went flying. But luckily I had my pucks sign the pucks. I put the one with the puck on it and I had those. So I just put all the pucks on all my pictures and they didn't go flying.
Yes.
Where was that?
That was in Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was right outside of Philly. Was that a 1-day event or a 2-day event? I think it was 2 days, right?
I think it was a 2-day, yeah. I only made it for the one, but it was great to go and just be out there again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Everything was so because I think we were still wearing masks, but it was still interactive.
Yeah, I did a little mini appearance at the Blairstown, not the diners make, but the summer of COVID. So 2020 in the summer when things started to slowly, not open up really, but feelers were being put out. And we were at the camp where they filmed part one. It was Bill Randolph and me. And,
awesome.
We have masks on, but I'm like, I don't care,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then in Europe, nobody had masks.
Are you from like New Jersey, Pennsylvania area? Because I know you do a lot of shows in that area.
No, I'm from the Bronx originally, like the Bronx. Yeah, like the projects, poor girl cockroaches, rats on the west side, bed bugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, you must know that song by Rolling Stones.
Yeah, the Stones. Yep.
Yeah. And anyway, I grew up in the Bronx, and then we moved to Brooklyn. And then when I got married, I lived in the city for a while, and then we lived in Brooklyn. And then we moved about, 40 miles northwest of New York City about 32 years ago. If you hear anything in the background, by the way, it's one of my mother's cats, like making biscuits on her cat bed, but she has really long, gnarly claws. So it goes, you hear these pops all of a sudden. It's the cat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not me passing gas.
My son was going to take a shower. I told him to take it earlier or after, so we don't hear it. We used to do these in the basement of my house, and the furnace is down there. So it was tough in the winter. I'd have to turn the furnace off because the furnace would kick on and you'd hear this humming noise, These mics pick up everything.
We have a couple of guys with motorcycles. I live on a dead end street. We got a couple of guys with motorcycles. I have a motorcycle too, but obviously I don't ride it when I'm doing a podcast. And then another guy has 2 historic vehicles, and those engines on those 1950s cars, it's very American graffiti sounding on our street. So in the middle of a podcast, all of a sudden you'll hear,
yeah.
Or the dog's barking. The dog's barking it's always. I was talking to Susan Lanier from the original Hills Have Eyes movie. We were on the phone yesterday, and her dog started barking. And she goes, "Oh my God, my dog's barking." And then all of a sudden my 2 started barking. I said, "Well, mine are barking back at yours, so we're even."
Yeah. As long as you mention it, on the podcast. And there was a fly in here one time, I think. And you could actually hear it. And then for some reason, the one night we were recording and there were kids outside. There's usually never any kids like playing outside. Yes. They were loud and yeah. So if you mention it, then that's fine. If you can't.
Yeah. I think people have kind of gotten used to it. Yeah.
Yep.
So I love your posters behind you. I have that one with the masks.
Oh, this one?
And I have it signed.
Just sent that to me.
I have it signed by Kane Hodder. Signed it. Jeremy got it signed for me 4 times. He signed his name underneath each one.
Yep.
And,
that's so cool.
And then the guy that was in the last one, I don't know, I forget his name.
Was it Derek Mears?
Yeah, Derek Mears.
Well, Kane Hodder took pride in signing that 4 times. Everybody who played Jason in that movie, he went up to them and he said, something along the lines of, "Hey, look here, how many times have you played Jason? Because I'm going to sign this 4 times."
Yeah.
You know how Kane is. I mean, you've seen him at the shows.
Oh, I've been next to his table multiple times.
Yep. He's great.
Yeah, so I know him very well. Now I have, for my birthday last year, my kids, they're all in their 30s. My kids last year got me our friend, I'm going to fall off my chair. I'm not drunk. My husband just asked me, he just called me. He said, "Are you drinking?" And I said, "No, why?" He goes, "It just sounds really weird." Like, I have 2 crazy
too much
people
coffee,
downstairs.
maybe.
Anyway,
oh, look at that.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah. So what happened was the kids got this for me for my birthday last year. And then a few weeks later, I was at a convention with Warrington. I'm not sure whether it was Vegas or Chicago. I'm thinking it must have been Vegas. And I went up to him, because we were hanging out, we all have breakfast, dinner together and all that. And I said, "Warrington," I said, "I got this for my birthday. Do you mind signing it?" He goes, "Come on, Lauren, don't do this. Who is it for?" I said, "It's for me." I said, "I swear." And my kids, and I brought up the pictures from my birthday party and I said, "Look," I said, it really is. Mm-hmm. So he wrote on it, such a wise ass. My husband was so upset. He wrote on it, "Lauren, I want to rip off the brown undies."
Nice.
My husband was furious. I mean, he wasn't furious. He was just like, "Oh, hon, come on. Do you have to do it?" He hates the photo op that I do with the brown undies. Yeah.
Let's talk about the movie. Of course, you were in Friday the 13th, Part 2. You played Vickie.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you got that role? Was there auditions? There was one movie, of course, before that. So I don't know if you were pursuing, Part 2. Like what your interest?
No, I slept with the director. I slept with the director and the producer. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Great answer.
Steve Miner would kill me. Well, because everybody thought actresses did back then. No, actually, I was working a lot. I was doing a lot of TV commercials.
Okay.
You know, that's how I was making my living, and that's how I paid for college. I was doing all these TV commercials, and the casting director for one of the commercials, she was like, you would see the same casting directors all the time, you know, and you got to know them, and a lot of times you'd hear.
Oh, you're freezing up a little. Technical difficulties.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
There
we're back. My internet went down. That's never happened before.
That happens to me all the time. I hate when that happens.
So we lost you at the very beginning when you're talking about what casting directors.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So so the casting director that did Friday Part 2 knew me from TV commercials. So they called me in to read very specifically for Vickie, because she was all American, you know, goody girl and all that, which is what I always was typecast as. I read, and next thing you know, they're telling me to pack my bags. You know, some people had to go through a callback process. Some people had to fly in, you know, to New York to meet Steve Miner. But I read for it and I got it almost immediately. Yeah.
And where was that filmed?
It's filmed in Kent, Connecticut. So they cast it in New York, at least my group, like Phil Randolph and those guys. We're all New York people. So they cast a bunch of New York people. Then they flew other people in from the West Coast, like Kirsten. And I think Marta was on the West Coast at the time. I'm not sure where Amy was, but I think John Fury was on the West Coast too. Warrington, and he's everywhere. So I don't know. So it was filmed in Kent, Connecticut, and they bussed us up. We didn't stay in a hotel. We stayed at the actual camp, which
I was going to ask you that if you stayed in the camp.
It was not okay. Oh no, I'm from the Bronx. You don't put somebody in the Bronx at a camp. I mean, the only grass I'd ever seen was the grass in the cemetery across the street.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there were no rats or cockroaches in the woods, right?
You're right.
Maybe snakes.
Deer and raccoons. Yeah, and snakes. That's right. And fish in the lake. I didn't go swimming in that lake. No way.
I noticed there's a scene where you go out to the car. Well, first, before that, you're changing into the brown panties that you love so much, those ugly brown, that you call them. You go out to the car. At first, I didn't know what you were. I watched it. I've seen that movie many times, but you're going out there to get a brush, it looks like, in the car. You're wearing a sweater and panties. But I noticed the next scene with you, when you're coming in, you have your pants are back on.
Oh, weird. I never noticed that.
Really? So I didn't know if it was filmed out of sequence. Those scenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You
never noticed.
They were. No, I've never noticed that. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to remember. God, those were the ugliest pants too.
Yeah, they weren't even jeans. They were like they didn't have Walmart back then. They were.
No,
they were before mom jeans. They were almost mom jeans.
There you go. That's a good one.
Oh, they were disgusting. You know, and I had perfectly nice jeans. But you know what? They needed to buy stuff in bulk that was cheap. So when they do the blood and the rip away, if it doesn't work, you got another pair. If it doesn't work, you got another pair. So between that and the ugly, itchy sweater, the wardrobe was.
What are some of your favorite horror movies?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been watching more of them. My horror movie picks tend to lean to the Catholic thriller type of things. Like, I think I was traumatized by 12 years of Catholic school I went to. Okay. And then I went to a Catholic college. So I'm really screwed, okay? Mentally, when it comes to horror movies, really screwed. So when I was younger, you know, I mean, really old movies like The Birds, you know, because of all the pigeons in New York, you know, so it made you afraid of birds. Okay. Yeah. You know, Frankenstein, of course, was big. Dracula was big. Godzilla was big when I was growing up. But then when you get into the more modern horror, like The Exorcist, Catholic overtones, The Omen, you know, my brother got a Rottweiler just to scare the shit out of me. He got a Rottweiler, because he knew I was afraid of it. Sweetest dog in the world, by the way. So Jaws doesn't really count, I don't think, even though when I saw it, I was terrified to go,
that's
to Rockaway Beach.
Debatable. That one for me, because I would go to the Wildwood, New Jersey, the shore, every year. Mm-hmm. And that's where I saw the movie. I don't know, what year was that?
78, maybe?
75, 76, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I was like 9 or 10. My parents took me to see Jaws.
Yeah.
And
Orca, it's funny because they didn't let me see The Exorcist. My brother was allowed to see The Exorcist. Mind you, my brother's only a year older than I am. Mm-hmm. So he's allowed to see The Exorcist. Super Catholic, crazy, movie. And what you do to me, Damien, the mother and the priest and all those people. But I was allowed to go and see John. So it's like, okay, he's allowed to see this crazy violent movie where this chick is doing things she shouldn't be doing with a crucifix. And I'm going to go in the water and rock away after seeing this. So my family was really, really screwed. So those were those. In modern day, well, not really modern day, but I guess after high school, The Shining is my all-time favorite. And recently, I'm really into the Conjuring universe. I really like it. Not crazy about some of the Annabelles, the more recent Annabelles, but I like the first Annabelle movie that they did in the Conjuring universe. So I like those. I'm not really into, super duper violent or serial killer horror movies. I like hauntings and possessions.
Yeah, Jeremy saw Terrifier too.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, how was Melissa?
It was she was only in there for a brief period of time, but it was good. Yep.
Yeah. What about you guys? What are some of your favorite horror movies?
Mine, as far as a series, is Friday the 13th. I've seen every one of them many times.
We're both big Stephen King fans, so a lot of the Stephen King movies, because we both read the books. So, even if the film doesn't hit what your mind, sees as you're reading it, you still get something to visualize after experiencing the story. So anything Stephen King. I love the Halloween franchise. Sorry to the Jason fans out there. But
I like the first couple Halloweens. I just watched Christine. Yeah. Shining is another one I love. But I've read every Stephen King book. Yeah. I have his new one. I haven't read it yet. I don't get much time to read. It takes me like months to read a book now.
Yeah. No more sitting on the beach with a summer read, right? Yeah. Nobody relaxes anymore.
Nope.
So let's talk about your second movie. I love John Belushi, and you were in the movie Neighbors. You played his daughter. Elaine.
Yeah, where is he? He's here somewhere. There he is. Oh, he's up here. Hold on. Yeah, I have that. I'd known I was standing up, I would have worn the brown undies. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that's Love the two of us on set. Yeah,
he looks real serious there.
He does.
Yeah, we were doing the eyebrow thing at each other, and then somebody grabbed my camera and snapped this picture of us. So it's very special.
So what was that experience like, working with Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Kathy Moriarty, and
Catherine Walker? Yeah. I have a few good stories about that if you want. Sure. And some stories I can't tell because I can't know. Lips are sealed on some stories. Yeah. It was a really it was a really great experience. Some things I'll take to the grave. Maybe not. But it was a great experience. I was in Chicago. I had taken over for Jennifer Grey in a show that I was understudying off Broadway, a 4-person play called Album, about coming of age in the 60s. And Jennifer Grey, I think it was her 18th birthday, and she fell down and broke her crown, basically. And I had to go and take over for her because she had a concussion. So I just got off the plane, got to my apartment, and my phone rings. No pagers or cell phones back then. It's 1980, or is it 81? I don't remember. It was 80, maybe late 80. Anyway, so I get back to my apartment. My phone's ringing. My manager, Lauren, can you get over to 50 West East 89th Street? Blah blah blah. Looking for somebody for this movie, and they can't find her. They can't find who they want. So I was like, okay. So I went over there and, people are hanging around. A whole bunch of people are hanging around. And they said, oh, where are you from? And I said, oh, I'm from a few blocks away from here. So I just got back from Chicago. And Belushi and Aykroyd look at each other and they're like, wait, what were you doing in Chicago? So I told them and they were really interested in it. And all my stories about, running along, the lake and everything like that. And, I read with them and didn't think anything of it. I hadn't really watched Saturday Night Live, so I wasn't all goo gaga with them. So I get back to my apartment, right? And I literally a few blocks away from the John Alvinson's apartment, which is where they were casting it. Get back to the apartment, phone rings again. And it's my manager again. Go back. They want to talk to you some more. And I said, oh, okay. So I went back and started talking to them. And we were just shooting the breeze, ordered up some food. And I just hung out with them for the rest of the afternoon. And got back to my apartment. And basically, I booked the job right then and there. So it was, they liked the fact that I wasn't, starstruck, if you will.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, if you didn't watch Saturday Night Live and you weren't, if you were enamored with Belushi and you were just, could hardly speak, they might not have.
Yeah.
This girl's a fangirl.
I knew Belushi. Yeah. I knew them. I knew of them. But I wasn't like, oh my God. I mean, if it had been Harrison Ford at that time in the room, I probably would have melted into my brown undies. But it was but it was really but during filming we were all hanging out and Danny Aykroyd decided to spend Easter with my crazy family because he was very curious about this whole idea of growing up in the Bronx and the projects with a grandfather who drank beer all day long and a crazy gigantic Polish grandmother who was 6 feet tall. And he's like, he was just very interested in the fact that I was raised by these two old crazy people. And so he went with me for Easter to my grandmother's house in the Bronx, roach-infested apartment. And my elderly aunt, who's downstairs, I can't hear anymore, she was there. She drags me, this is when she was younger, she drags me into the bedroom. She goes, is that boy from Saturday Night Live? I looked at her and went, you watch Saturday Night Live? But the best thing that Danny Aykroyd did was he brought my grandfather a case of beer from their bar down in Tribeca.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
But it was fun. It was fun. We had the dinner scene with Kathy Moriarty and Belushi and Aykroyd and Catherine Walker. So that took forever to film. It took us 2 days to film that one dinner scene for various reasons. And John Avildsen at one point was trying to direct Belushi on how to play a scene to make it funny. Now, John Avildsen is not really known for his rom-coms. He directed Rocky, okay? He won an Academy Award for directing Rocky. I think he was supposed to direct Halloween. I had heard a rumor somewhere. It was some crazy research that he was slated to, I think it was Halloween. He was slated to direct. Anyway, he's trying to direct Belushi on how to be funny, basically. And Belushi's putting up with it. You could see his face starting to get red. And his eyebrows are starting to do almost a Jack Nicholson thing, right? And all of a sudden, he takes off the napkin from around his neck, slams it on the dinner table, looks at John Avildsen and says, can I curse?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can curse.
Okay. Oh, okay, because I think I cursed earlier. He looks right at Alex and goes, why don't you take your goddamn Academy Award and put it on top of the fucking camera so we know who the fuck you are? Slams his hands on the table again, stood up, walked off set. Kathy Moriarty is smirking. Catherine Walker is sitting there like this. And I'm just like wide-eyed, like, holy shit. He just dissed this director. And Dan Aykroyd said, well, I guess it's a wrap for the day.
Wow. Yeah, I can't see pissing off Belushi,
No.
But he was great. They really were so much fun. I always call it the best time of my life.
I just watched that movie again. That's one of my favorite movies. That was Belushi's last movie he filmed.
Yes,
there was another movie that came out after, but I think Neighbors might have
Continental Divide.
Yeah.
Yeah, Continental Divide came out after. And he was really sweet in that movie. I liked Continental Divide a lot. I think I was the only one who did, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Belushi, I think it was 1982. He passed away.
Yeah.
And I was how old was I? I was 16, but I watched SNL from the beginning. I think I was 10 years old. My parents never knew what I was watching. They'd go to bed and I'd stay up and watch Saturday Night Live. And I've never stopped watching the show. Good or bad season skits, but my wife and I, every Saturday, we watch it still.
Yeah, we record it because, we're busy having parties on Saturday nights. Okay. So we record it and then we forget to watch it.
Yeah. Our podcast is mostly music, so I have to ask you a little bit about music.
Oh, no.
Well, mainly when you were in Neighbors, you were 19. But I noticed in one scene, it's with Belushi and Kathy Moriarty, and it's towards the end of the movie. They're in what looks like your bedroom, Elaine's bedroom. And there's a poster of the Police, and the other one is the Pretenders. So I'm wondering what kind of music you were into listening to at that time.
It's funny because I love Sting, but I never really listened to the Police like actively, but I did like their early stuff, but I thought Sting's voice was kind of weird. And Pretenders, of course, I love the Pretenders. Got a picture of you. Oh. Anyway, I was into that, but those posters were not my idea. They were Belushi's idea of what Elaine liked, but I did agree with him. On that. When I was super young, those were like the Tiger Beat days. So, you had the whole Jackson 5, and that's probably around 4th grade or something like that. But then, I'm actually wearing a Queen shirt.
Oh,
actually, in honor of, because I was like, let me put my Queen shirt on for this. So, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody. Earlier than that, Elton John. Loved the Yellow Brick Road album. That was one of my first albums that I was allowed to get, because remember, strict household and all that. But my grandmother didn't know any better, so we had that. I used to listen to Barry White. I'm gonna love you, baby, just a little more. So that was always good. Now, see, here's a funny story. My brother always said that he was going to have Funeral for a Friend played at his funeral when he dies, and he wants to be sitting up in his casket with a laptop in front of him. So I got him on mine because I want to have Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper.
Okay.
And I want to be in a beautiful cotton white sundress with, flowers, and my hair like this, like all hippie like the way I am every single day. So we all have our own ideas. But yeah, so those were my big ones. The Stones, of course, were always big. I was, when I was very pregnant with my son, I went to the Stones concert in Shea Stadium, and I think I had him 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. AC/DC, of course. Steven Tyler, Aerosmith. When I was a teacher for Dress Like a Celebrity Day, everybody knew who I was. I came in with my flare jeans, my belt with the stuff hanging out, the scarves around my neck. I put some extensions in my hair, this color, and it was really long. And, I did my lips, so I looked like I kissed the moose or something, because he has those lips. I'm like, dream on, dream on. So everybody, all the teachers knew. They're like, oh, you're Steven Tyler. I'm like, yep, you guys know. So yeah, so that's kind of like my history with music. And currently I'm really, maybe it's my age, I don't know, but I'm kind of like in sappy mode.
Okay.
I'm not a Bieberite or whatever they call themselves. And I'm not into Funko Pop or whatever those people are. But I actually like Ed Sheeran. I like Ed Sheeran.
K-pop.
K-pop, that's it. Yeah. Funko Pop, I don't know. And all the rock and rollers out there are going to totally trash my ass when I say the word Coldplay. So you can all talk amongst yourselves.
I like Coldplay.
Yeah. Oh, good. Thank God. I think you're the only other person I know.
Yeah.
What do you guys like besides Coldplay?
My favorite band is Cheap Trick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've seen them like 5 or 6 times, but the first time I saw him was like 2006, so I missed out on a lot of, the earlier concerts. Yeah, we interviewed Dax, who is Rick's son, and then they played in Reading at this little theater. Jeremy was with me, and we got to. Cool. They were waiting for their bus. They couldn't get the bus behind the theater, And Robin was there and Rick, and and like years before I paid for a meet and greet, and here we are and Dax knows who I am now. So that's kind of, that's one of the benefits. Cool. You know, we don't have sponsors or anything. We're a very small podcast, but that's one of the benefits of interviewing people and then meeting them and them kind of recognizing it. So but I like Cheap Trick. I like you. I've liked you too forever.
Yes. Yeah.
I was into Dave Matthews for a long time, and I haven't listened to him in a while. But Jeremy, what do you?
Everything that you listed. I'm a big fan of Aerosmith, Def Leppard, AC/DC, Queen.
Oh, Def Leppard, yeah.
Yep. 60s, 70s, 80s rock and roll is definitely right down my alley. So The Who, anything like that, I'll definitely be rocking out to. So.
Oh, yes. Stevie Nicks.
Yep.
Big. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac is great. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Rumors album was one of my high school boyfriend. He had one of those tape decks in his car. He had an old Dodge Dart or something like that. Yeah, it was a Dart. And he had a tape deck. And so one of the first full albums that I heard was the Rumors album.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was my high school years. That was after Yellow Brick Road, obviously.
Do you collect vinyl?
I don't have to because my younger daughter boyfriend does.
Okay.
So I can kind of glom, the shine from them with the vinyl, know?
Yeah, I like the older bands too, like the classic rock, the Beatles, of course, the Monkees and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Monkees, hey, we're the Monkees. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even mention the Beatles because that's like, to me, that's like, that's a given. That they're the god of all of the other ones. Yeah, I met Alice Cooper at a convention, and we had a great time. He did a birthday message for a friend of mine. Isn't he cool?
Yes.
We just saw him in concert in Bethlehem.
Yep.
At Wind Creek, the casino.
Okay.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was great.
Really good
for his age.
Is. Yes. Well, you know what he said? He said one of the most important things is taking care of this voice box. He said, a lot of guys my age can't sing anymore. And some guys younger than me can't sing anymore. And he said, we have to treat this the way we treat our instruments. If your guitar, those strings are fucked up, you got to replace them. He goes, but this can't be replaced. He goes, I don't mess with my voice.
Oh, yeah.
So he takes really good care of it. Yeah.
So we have about 4 minutes left. And
okay.
I love your podcast. I haven't listened to all of them, but I just listened to the last one you did with Amanda Wiss. I'm going to say her name right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a 2-parter. You're a really good interview. She had really good stories.
Yeah.
But is there one person you'd love to interview in the future that you?
Oh boy.
Even if it's someone you don't think you can get, just that you'd love to talk to.
Oh, wow. Well,
there's probably a lot.
I have talked to Jack. I've talked to Jack Nicholson, so I can't say that, but not on the podcast, just personally.
Okay.
Wow. Oh my. Oh gosh. That's a good one. I can't think. I mean, because when I think of horror, it's like blah blah blah. I think of all the people that I've met, and I'm like, yeah, but I met them. I know them. I met them. I know them.
Maybe Robert Englund.
No, I know. No.
Probably talk to him on the phone.
I wouldn't mind getting him on the show. I guess I hate to say this, but I would like to talk to James Cameron because I would love to grill him about his directing. All the wonderful things that he's done. I mean, never mind Titanic. Steven Spielberg. I would love to talk to Steven Spielberg.
A great one. Yeah.
Yep. People that don't do many interviews too, maybe. You could ask them the questions you don't know the answers to, or you want to find out more about them. I have a list of like music people. Of course, I love to interview Paul McCartney, but I don't know that's not going to happen.
God, yeah.
But you never know.
Of course, you guys have music people that legends probably in your case.
Yeah, we interviewed Chuck Negron. He was pretty cool. 3 Dog Night. Little Anthony from the Imperials.
That is cool.
Yeah, some people that were big in the past, but not currently.
How do you contact them? Do you find out who their agent is, or?
I used to try on Instagram, and most of them don't see their messages. But now, if I can find a publicist, their publicist, because I've heard back from people that, like Amy Mann, I'd love to interview her. And I actually heard back from her publicist, but like she's not doing podcasts right now, or she's doing too many podcasts. So at least I heard back. So that's the contact. If you can get the publicist, because they schedule everything for the person.
Yeah. I know what you mean about doing a lot of podcasts, and for me, it's I sometimes I'll get people who want to do a second one with me, and I'm kind of like, well, I'm kind of boring, so. The first, maybe, if I have something going on, I'll do a second one, but not much is happening. I'm kind of boring these days. So,
So they can find you on Facebook, Instagram. Do you have a website?
Mostly Instagram. I'm working on the website. It will be called LaurenMarieTaylor.com, but it's not up yet because I'm really bad at that. But my Instagram is just Lauren Marie Taylor 1 with the number 1 behind it. I suck at Facebook, but I am on Facebook. It's Lauren Marie Taylor Official. But I suck. So if people want to follow or contact me, Instagram is the best. Thanks for asking.
Okay. So it was great talking to you.
So much.
And I'm sure we'll see you at a future convention.
Thank you, guys.
You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Jim Thatcher and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Friday the 13th theme, compiled and created by Jim Thatcher.